So, do you feel bored or in need of a vacation? Well, soon there'll be a bot for just that. For the uninitiated among us, a bot is software that automates things that you would normally do on your own. For example, finding accommodation for a weekend getaway or more mundane tasks such as adding a meeting to your calendar. But to tell us more about this and to discuss this technology, its impact on business, is Matt Willis. He's a creative technologist at Quirk Media Agency. Matt, thanks for joining us. Let's go back to basics. A bot, what exactly is it? And have we maybe come across it and didn't know that we have?
So, as you said, a bot is a piece of software that is automated for us and helps us to do certain things, whether it's booking accommodation or even something as simple as a calendar meeting in our diary. The sort of the newsworthy part of bots at the moment is chatbots, and that's really a new way of interfacing with the software around us or the services around us. So instead of clicking buttons on a screen, we now can just use a messenger style or an instant messenger kind of WhatsApp style of conversing with the software, and that conversational style is going to reduce the friction that we have between us and services. And the second part of that is, as we have this new simple interface, the software will allow us to have it do things for us as in terms of an assistant. Yes.
You mentioned some examples there. I mean, talking about a calendar being put in. Can you maybe give us more examples? I spoke at the beginning about the uninitiated, and that would definitely include me. So apart from that, how is it making things a lot easier for us?
Yeah, so a lot of the smartphones these days, you'll notice certain pieces of software like Google Now or Apple Siri, which again is just really basic integration to your phone. But there's a lot of bots being developed now that allow you to order certain things online. For instance, some flowers, or to order an Uber. So simple as entering into a chat interface, "Hi there, I'd like an Uber right now at my location." And the chatbot will go off, recognize where you are, and connect to a service online and do all the back-end stuff for you, all the details, and also provide payment for you. So it really simplifies anything. Yeah, and across customer service, for example, you don't have to talk to anybody. They will fetch the information for you and provide that.
Like with any technology, you always have to look at the positives and negatives. And Matt, is it true that we would see more apps being needed because we now have a bot? And now what would this mean for app developers who make a living out of this?
Yeah, so if we look at the app environment at the moment, or the ecosystem, there's a lot of apps in the App Store. And ultimately, as an app developer, it's very difficult to get your app featured. And the major problem is discovery. Once your app is installed, often people will use it for a single purpose or a single instance. They'll forget about it and then delete it. So currently, there's a lot of problems with apps to begin with. The chatbot interface, or a simple messenger interface, addresses that in a lot of ways, because the way that we can interface with all of these services becomes very, very simple and very easy. You don't have to download something to get access to these things. What does it mean for app developers? I think it broadens the possibilities for them and provides them with more opportunities to create meaningful services. I think it's a good thing for app developers, especially the guys that are putting together the cogs in the background, as opposed to maybe the pretty interfaces in the front.
Is this going to threaten the jobs of individuals or employees like you and I? I think some of the buzzwords that are coming out now, one buzzword is Robo advisors. Is this very far away from a bot? I mean, one thinks about job security in these very challenging times.
Sorry, I didn't get the whole question there. Would you mind just repeating the last bit?
Sure, Matt. Just talking about job security for you and I. One of the headlines that came up there was, will bots now rule the world? It's very challenging. Everybody's trying to find jobs, and now we have to contend with bots too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of instances where bots will be threatening jobs. For instance, really basic customer service and the usual back and forth you might get on email. They'll be programmed to really deal with that kind of stuff. But wherever one door closes, another one opens. So if you're an expert in your field, nothing can really replace experience, and they're going to need people to train these bots and to bring in new experiences into these bots as interactions. So I think if we approach it in terms of what are the opportunities for people already in industry, there's a lot of doors that are going to open. We're just going to be moving up the pyramid, so instead of operating at this level, we'll be able to operate on top of bots as a platform.
Matt, just a final one. Everybody always talks about the Internet of Things. You're obviously on the ground, keeping your pulse on what everybody's talking about and what's happening. What's the next thing that we can expect from bots once things, really, really gain momentum and we're seeing more and more technology?
Yeah, so the guys who developed Siri for Apple, that Apple took over, have been working on a new project called Viv, which is their vision is to replace the interfaces that we use on a day-to-day basis with the style of conversation that we use with humans through natural language processing. So as we talk now, a bot would understand us. Okay. And using that as a way to integrate with services and connect on the World Wide Web. So from a simple chat interface or a voice interface, be able to connect with all of the online services that you would usually use, such as Uber, or other services that you can order immediately, ordering food, ordering pizza, travel and hospitality industry. So in terms of that, it's going to be started to permeate our lives a lot more and offer us a simpler, easier, lower barrier to entry way of accessing all the services that we need on a day-to-day basis.
Matt, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon and telling us more about bots. That was Matt Willis. He's a creative technologist at Quirk Media Agency, excuse me.